Hey, what's up guys? It's Matt with the Movement System. In this video, we're gonna cover 8 drills to help you build elite foot and ankle strength. Whether you're playing football, soccer, lacrosse, or another field sport, you wanna have a really strong foundation at the foot and ankle to reduce risk of injury and optimize your performance. We're gonna show you the top 8 drills ranked from easiest to most difficult to help you build strength, mobility, and also plyometric strength. We're going to show you demonstrations of exactly how to do these drills from 3 different NFL athletes. We have Rashad Penny, Jordan Jenkins, and Darren Waller to help you learn and understand the right technique to do these drills. These guys are all off-season NFL athletes working with the Optimized Physical Therapy and Performance crew out here in Las Vegas to build good foot and ankle strength and be ready for the season to come. For those of you who don't know, Las Vegas, Nevada is actually becoming quite a hub of athletes, with the Raiders just moved out here and with a potential NBA expansion team coming soon, potentially named the Vipers, the Outlaws, the Vultures, the Bandits, or the Bighorns. I'm excited to see what happens. Maybe LeBron James will own the team, who knows, but let's go ahead and dive into the video. All right, foot and ankle drill number 1 is small ankle hops. These can be done just forward, backwards, straight up with a nice, easy tempo, hopping off the ball of the foot, or they can be done side to side. This is a great drill whether you're a beginner athlete, a runner, or an advanced athlete. We call this an extensive plyometric, meaning it's a plyometric that helps prepare your Achilles tendon and your other tendons for the loads of higher demanding training. So this is great for a warm-up drill or just something to do every other day to keep your Achilles tendon healthy. You can just do 10 yards down and back on the field once or twice, or if you're just doing these on an off day, you can just do pogo hops for 30 seconds to 1 minute for 2 to 3 sets. Drill number 2 gets a little bit more challenging, and this is where we're working on lateral bounds. You may find that these are very smooth for you and you're able to land on one foot well, but a lot of people struggle with sticking that landing and being stable. If that's the case, you may need to address mobility at the foot, ankle, knee, or hip. The midfoot should be able to pronate and supinate and not be stuck in flat pronation or stuck in a high rigid supinated arch. So we can actually work on that with a drill like this where we're planting the foot down and then moving the knee out to the side and helping the foot to move up and down and mobilize. Also, when we're landing, our knee doesn't just bend, it actually rotates as well. And a lot of people are stuck and don't have a lot of good rotation ability at the knee, which can make it really difficult to stick that landing and feel stable. If that's the case, we can work on knee rotation, or what we call tibial rotation. You can see Jordan here working with Jose on tibial rotation, and what you can see is he's keeping the knee forward, but he's rotating the tibia to work on that rotation of the knee to point inward and outward. If we can gain some of that tibial rotation, that can help us be a little bit more stable when we're landing. You can also work on hip mobility in a standing position to help integrate this into that same position you're going to be landing in on one leg. So you can work on this by rotating your hips and keeping that leg planted here. The way I like to think about some of these rotation drills is we're expanding the runway, giving you a little bit more leeway from side to side. If you're really stiff and stuck in one position and then you land, you're not really going to be able to get into the position you need to stabilize. If we open up that midfoot, open up that knee, open up that hip a little bit with some of these drills, then we can land in a more stable position. Moving on to drill number 3, we have the side step to hop. This drill is where we're going to start to get faster and more dynamic. We can start with this drill at 50% speed, then ramp up to 75% speed, then ramp all the way up to 100% speed and really work on pushing off the ground. With this drill, we want to be on the ball of the foot and we want to be explosive pushing off the ground. If you don't prepare your feet and ankles for these specific loads of jumping, you know what they're going to be? Unhoppy. Moving on to number 4, we have positional isometrics. These can be done with just a straight up calf raise, which a lot of people are doing. But if we want to prepare the foot to be pushing off in different planes of motion and at different angles, then we also can do these leaning into, for example, a goalpost or a wall. This can help prepare your foot to accept loads and push off in different directions, which is really important for sport. Moving on to number 5, this is where they start to get pretty intense. We have split squat isometric pulses. This is a great drill to prepare the Achilles tendon and the foot to handle the loads of these aggressive positions. When we're changing direction and sprinting and accelerating, we're going to need to push off aggressively into the ground in a position of dorsiflexion. By doing drills like this split squat, or even progressing into a split squat where we're hopping the front foot, we're starting to prepare the foot for those specific positional demands of our sport. If you're doing these in the off season, in the preseason to prepare your foot for those positions and those demands, you're going to decrease the risk of overloading your foot and ankle tendons when it comes to sport specific training. So not only is this important for performance, but it's also a good measure to help reduce injury risk. Moving on to drill number 6, we have slam on the brakes. This is where we're going to start to integrate some of these more isolated movements into fast exercises and fast drills. With this slam on the brakes drill, you're going to be running 10 yards and then you're going to slam on the brakes and drop the hips. We're going to attack the ground to decelerate here at the 10-yard line, at the 20-yard line, at the 30-yard line, all the way to the 50-yard line. This needs to be done at near maximal effort. You cannot sandbag this drill and expect for it to be effective. When you're breaking down, we want to see aggressive arm action. We want to see you attack the ground and then very quickly accelerate. So we're working on acceleration and deceleration, putting these intense direct loads through the foot to prepare our foot and ankle for the high demands of sport. And I know no one wants to get a foot or ankle injury in season because you're going to have to sit around and wait for it to heal. Moving on to drill number 7, we have half yard and then full yard forward hops. This single leg hop is going to put a ton of demand through the foot to stabilize and to push off. This is where we're getting a lot of strength work. We're also getting a plyometric response as we get faster with these jumps. So this is a really intense drill that you have to build up to over time. Ideally, if you've worked for a few weeks on some of the isometrics and some of the easier exercises from before, then you can progress to some of these more intense exercises. If you have a football field to work with, it's really good to do these on the hash, so that way you have a target to aim for. You can start with 1 to 2 sets of a half yard and then progress up to a full yard forward jump. In a training session, you really don't want to do tons of repetitions of these. You really just want to do maybe 3 to 4 sets of 10 yards and make sure that you're really executing them well. And that leads us to drill number 8, which is the most difficult, and that's the lateral hops. Lateral single leg hops put a lot of demand on your hip, your knee, and your ankle to stabilize that landing position. This is a really great drill to work on. It'll help you get faster with your change of direction and your cutting, and help you be more explosive and stable on one leg. Similar to the forward hops, you want to be doing these lateral on the hash marks so that way you have a target to work for, and you want to start with a half yard jump and then progress into a full 1 yard jump. If you're doing these for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, you should see that you're getting more accurate and you're getting more stable with where you're landing each repetition. Again, these are an intense single leg exercise. We don't need to be doing 10 or 20 sets of these. We just want to do 3 to 5 sets of 10 yards with really good quality repetitions here. So overall, pick the exercises from this list that are most appropriate to where you're at right now, work on them, and then progress up to the more difficult ones over time. If you're consistent with these for a few months in your off season, it can really pay dividends whenever you're coming to the preseason and getting to more intense speed drills. If this was helpful for you, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, follow along on Instagram as well at The Movement System, and I'll also leave a link below to Optimize Physical Therapy and Performance and Coach Zachy and Coach Jose if you want to learn from them as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.